Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the Monday Night Raw 5-point preview. This is early Sunday morning as we talk about the basic main event of WWE Monday Night Raw, which is going to be Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg going face-to-face the week of Survivor Series. We are counting it down. Of course, we're coming on the next day of UFC 205 live from Madison Square Garden. At the start of this video, I got to give props to Jay Glazer, who scraped himself together in order to basically come out of UFC 205 to appear on NFL on Fox this morning. As we're watching the NFL, I got Atlanta and Philly on the TV right now. I barely scraped myself out of bed and made the 10 feet walk to the couch over here to watch football this morning. And this guy was able to get up and work after getting out of the garden at approximately about 4:30 in the morning East Coast time, and still make the morning football shows and do all his work reporting who's going to be in and out each week. But Goldberg and Brock going face-to-face on Monday Night Raw. This is going to be huge. This is going to be a big deal, of course. Brock, every time he's on Monday Night Raw, every time he's on a pay-per-view, anytime he's involved with anything in WWE, it's always a big deal. Brock, of course, is the guy that basically brings people in. He's the biggest part-time worker that they have. I don't know. I don't really put Cena in that category yet. It does seem like Cena is starting to be gone more than he is around. This started last year when he went off to go do his reality show for Fox. I don't know if it's a reality show or a game show, whatever you want to call it. We also saw him get injured after coming back from that television show, which kept him out of WrestleMania. So that is one reason why you're sort of remembering that Cena's around a lot less lately. But especially with him only being featured on SmackDown now with the brand split, it is a little bit weird. Bill Goldberg really has knocked it out since coming back to WWE. Even his Halloween appearance where he hit the jackhammer on Rusev, which looks like it's going to keep him out of Survivor Series, storyline-wise. You look at the Survivor Series card, I believe there's 47 wrestlers that are going to be used in these matches, unless some are going to be named for a pre-show match or any filler that they need. I can only think of like Jinder Mahal, Jack Swagger, The Miz, who's involved in the storyline, who's being held up by Daniel Bryan. He might get traded to Monday Night Raw, or at least he's looking for a trade. I think that's going to put him in some sort of a match where he interferes, sort of making it where SmackDown loses a match that they should have won, trying to push the deal that he wants out, and that's going to make it where Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon move him just because of what he did. You've also got like Jack Swagger, Jinder Mahal, The Miz, Rusev. There's not many guys that are not being used. Of course, Goldberg also hit the spear on Paul Heyman, taking him out in an ambulance. They're going to be coming out looking for revenge. I'm thinking that more than likely this is just going to be the main event slot, the very end of Monday Night Raw. But coming off of a few years ago, the buildup to Undertaker reappearing at Battleground during the Brock Lesnar's chance to win back the WWE World Heavyweight Championship from Seth Rollins. He came back, he attacked, he hit the tombstone on Brock. The next night, right out of the gate, Brock and Goldberg were at it, fighting all throughout Monday Night Raw. They were in the ring, they were in the aisle. Then once they were broken up and brought to the back, the fight was there. We basically had them yelling they were going to kill each other in the back, as he had the whole roster trying to keep these guys separated. I don't know. I'm not looking for some sort of a pull apart where just basically like some no name indie security guards break this deal up. I want to see a real battle. Where these guys are really going at it, and both guys really want to show that they really want to win this. I don't know, because I've been dreaming up, because everybody thinks that they're going to do Brock versus Shane at WrestleMania 33 as one of the big feature matches for both of those guys. Definitely in my mind, if Shane and SmackDown would have signed Goldberg to sort of fight Shane's fight because of what happened at SummerSlam, that would make more sense, because then Shane could be there in the ring trying to do the pull apart, and it would give him a reason to be on Monday Night Raw, with Brock being a Raw guy and this being a Monday Night Raw storyline. It would give them a reason to be in the same ring at the same time, and sort of, paint that picture of what WrestleMania is going to be. But they didn't do that. I mean, easily they just could have given one appearance of Goldberg's to SmackDown, and it would have helped SmackDown, and it would have helped Goldberg, and it would have been a plus for a lot of things. So, and then you wouldn't have had to have it on Halloween as well. So, it is what it is. But this is going to be a big one. I'm looking forward to a lot of fun on Monday Night Raw. Like I said, this is probably going to be the end storyline, but it'd be better if it was the start storyline. But we'll see what's going down. We'll see tomorrow on Monday Night Raw. Let's see what else is going on Raw. As I talked about in the last part of the video, talking about Brock versus Goldberg face-to-face, saying it would be cool if Shane McMahon was to be a part of the fight of Goldberg versus Brock, making it more of a Raw versus SmackDown feel. I did forget that Shane and Daniel Bryan are invited to Monday Night Raw. They're going to be there for a sort of a face-to-face showdown with Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie said that Shane didn't have the guts to step into the ring, so there is going to be some sort of a face-to-face showdown. There's no doubt in my mind that Shane and Daniel Bryan will be coming to Monday Night Raw, because they are the ones that came up with the idea for the Raw versus SmackDown feel to Survivor Series. All of these matches for brand supremacy, I haven't heard them say that, but I've always liked it when they said that back in the day. Of course, all the Raw versus SmackDown video games that they came out over the years. I don't know how you tie them all together where Shane would be in a part of the Brock versus Goldberg ordeal, but at least they're going to be in the same building, so maybe you have some sort of backstage run-in, I guess you can say, because it does build in to Stephanie and Brock and Brock and Shane, because Stephanie didn't really lay the hammer down on Brock after the beatdown at Survivor Series. At SummerSlam, because of the fact they had just broken up. I believe the fine was only $500, which I think is what Brock Lesnar probably spends when he goes to Jimmy John's to go pick up some sandwiches. Never ate there. We did stay right next to one at New Orleans. I think Justin went to one. But I've heard the sandwiches are all right, but much like when you go to Subway and the sandwiches are all lettuce, when you go to Jimmy John's, I hear that the sandwiches are all bread. So you got to really like bread, I guess you can say. From here on out, a lot of the stuff on Monday Night Raw is just going to basically be, will these teams be able to work together? Of course, when I think about Survivor Series, I think there was one match at Survivor Series 95 that my friend Miguel is really high on. He always talks about it. It was sort of like, I think they called it the wild card, where it was just basically a lot of guys: Diesel, Shawn Michaels, Jeff Jarrett, Sid, Davey Boy, Owen, a lot of people that weren't used on the show. Instead of making just a classic Survivor Series match that didn't mean anything, it was almost like they drew names out of a hat and split everybody up. They did play on some storylines, because I think at that time Diesel and Shawn weren't working really well together, even though they were together. Davey Boy and Owen had their trouble as well. But all the other times you had teams like the Team Hulkamaniacs or the Ultimate Warriors, or the Hacksaws 4x4s, or Rude's Brood, or the Heenan family. A lot of these teams were all baby faces, or they were all heels. It made sense that these guys were together, sort of like the first Hulkamania team, which I believe was Hogan, Ken Patera. I think that Paul Orndorff, Bam Bam Bigelow were all on that team going up against Andre's team. And I think Hillbilly Jim might have been on that team as well. Just all big, buff baby faces that, made sense that they'd be working out in the gym together pretty much. But now we got, all 5 guys on Team Raw that don't really get along. You've got Rollins and you've got Reigns, who have history between each other with the breakup of the Shield. Jericho and Owens, who are a team that you can really tell is falling apart. You've got Braun Strowman, who's just on Team Strowman. He doesn't want to be with anybody. He doesn't even want to be with the Wyatts. Rollins and Reigns, they both want to be champions, so they want a piece of Owens. So nobody on this team gets alike, and Stephanie is going to have to find some sort of common ground. I know that they've already had the main event of TLC named, which is a SmackDown branded show, but maybe, I don't know if they have a December show or not, but maybe Stephanie can come to Team Raw and basically say that the survivor of the men's Survivor Series match will get a title shot against Kevin Owens, and maybe that leads to the breakup if Jericho is the ultimate survivor. That gives him a reason to want to go out there and do it. It gives Rollins and Reigns a reason not to take a shot at Owens during the match because they don't want to be outnumbered. I don't know, maybe it gives Kevin Owens a reason to take a shot at somebody and get them eliminated during the match because he doesn't want to face them. So it builds a lot of layers to it, honestly, in my mind. One of the matches that I'm really looking forward to for Survivor Series is Sami Zayn against the Intercontinental Champion, Dolph Ziggler. I don't think there's a shot in hell that Zayn's going to win this match, but easily in my mind, especially because there's only 3 singles matches on the show, I think that this really could steal the show as the best wrestling match of the night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Reminds me a lot of Sami Zayn going up against Nakamura at the TakeOver event from Dallas, WrestleMania weekend, because there wasn't really a stipulation on it. It was just sort of like a, not preseason, but an exhibition, I guess you can say, is probably the best way to put it. Just 2 guys go out there, let's see who the better guy is. You know the Intercontinental Championship's not going to Raw because more than likely they're going to do the change with the Cruiserweights. So it could be fun. Plus, talking about the Cruiserweights, it's probably the last night that they're going to be featured on Monday Night Raw. I don't know if that means they're going to leave them in the dust and just sort of forget about them. No doubt in my mind, Kendrick will have a match against somebody. Maybe TJ Perkins will get featured. But everybody else, I think, is just sort of going to be left behind because it looks like WWE and Monday Night Raw, I know they're getting their own show, but it looks like they're almost just saying, it didn't work. It is what it is. Let's see what they get on their own show, which I think is going to get treated like superstars because there's going to be a Cruiserweight Championship storyline that's going to be on a pay-per-view. They're probably going to want to get that figured out on SmackDown. That way people care about it. Because it's not like the Cruiserweights are just going to get left off of SmackDown because they have their own show. They're going to be wanting to feature them as well. So, doesn't look like they have a whole lot. We talked about Goldberg and Brock, Shane and Daniel Bryan coming to Raw. How can Team Red work together? The Cruiserweights and the Intercontinental Championship match. So, that's it. We'll see what goes down tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. I apologize last week. I was wrong about everything. But it was all predictions because they were working overseas and I wanted to get the video up as soon as I could. So Raw preview last week was an honest 100% fail. It'll be better this week.